Successful companies used to employ armies of sales and marketing people to win. But in 2025, the game completely changed. Now, one marketer can actually drive millions of dollars of revenue with just AI. What used to take weeks or cost hundreds of thousands of dollars now costs close to zero. I know it because alone in a room, I'm able to make much more money in a month than what a lawyer or a doctor can actually make in an entire year. In this video, I'm going to show you the 8 AI marketing skills that skyrocketed my career by at least 10 years, making me one of the most in high demand consultants in the entire world. I literally banked millions, coached over 600 people, and consulting the fastest growing companies in the world. Let's dive into it. Okay guys, before starting, I just want to point out one of the best entrepreneurship lessons that I've ever had, which is skills stacking. This is an incredible thing because very few people actually talk about this, and there are very few things in the world that actually compound. And the compound effect is probably the most powerful force in the universe. For example, money compound. If you gain a 8% interest rate for 25 years, you will have like a crazy amount of money in the bank account. Relationships compound. Skills compound. And the single most powerful things that happen in my life is compounding of skills. I started at the beginning with just LinkedIn, and then B2B, and then sales, and then automation, and then AI, but I started earning a lot of money when I had many of these things together. And these things together actually allow me to bank millions and be hyper useful for B2B companies and package my skills to the highest level. Having said that, let's dive into what are these skills and why I truly believe they can make you a business machine, they can make you a sales machine. You can totally outperform an entire team with these skills only. And this is the only reason why Mark Zuckerberg and other companies are actually paying hundreds of millions of dollars for AI talent, and single solopreneurs are actually able to earn millions with 0 full-time employees. Having said that, let's dive into it. Let's jump in the first skill, which is AI outbound. AI outbound basically it's using tools such as Claycom. Claycom is one of the most powerful sales operation engine in the world that allows you to basically scrape the entire web, apply the depersonalization on the accounts that you found, find the people, find the contact information, and reach out to the right people at scale with super personalized contact to actually book a meeting, and from the meeting you can actually generate a sales. For example, let's say that you're selling a software to a marketing agency, you can map all the marketing agencies. From there, you can use AI to actually understand what they are selling. You can filter for the ones only selling Facebook ads, and you can find the owner. From the owner, you can get the contact information, and you can actually automate thousands of AI emails per day, reaching out to these company owners saying that you have the right solution for their own problem. You can test messages at scale, sending a lot of volume. You can figure out what is the right message so you can actually provide valuable messages and communication at scale to actually skyrocket your revenue. How to do this? Let's jump into it so I can show you exactly how it works with Clay.com. First, let's jump into Clay.com, add company. We can scrape any sources of the web. In this case, I want to scrape agencies. So I say industries, marketing services, company size 11 to 50, 50 to 200, description keyword, marketing team, agency, location, United States. Let's use a limit of 1,000 company, continue, import to new table. This is Clay.com. As you can see on the left, you can actually get any kind of sources. In this case, we used LinkedIn, but let's say you want to get restaurants, we could have connected Google Maps. Let's say you want e-commerces, we could have connected store leads to get all the e-commerces. Now we have all the companies that are here. We can use AI agents on the top right, especially Claygen. For example, let's say that we want to understand if this agency is selling digital marketing services and not branding. What we can do is select the right model, right account, prompt for domain, try to understand if the company is actually selling digital marketing services. Return yes or no. Max cost, true, false. Return even better, true or false. Save and run 10 rows. And as you can see, at scale, you can actually create super efficient lists. You can go really in depth thanks to AI research so that we can actually reach out to this company in a super efficient way. In this video, you can see how you can leverage classical business skills and AI to actually bank millions using tools such as Clay.com. But Clay isn't easy to master at the beginning. You will experience a level of frustration and it can seem very expensive with all the credit rules. Luckily, I have created a full Clay masterclass where you can just copy what I am doing from 0 to 1 to actually become very proficient with Clay.com using literally 0 credits. So check the link in the description, click there and actually download my full training. See you over there. As you can see, it's checking the true and false. If it is true, we can move all the results on the right. On the response, we can actually filter for the one that are actually marketing agencies selling digital marketing services. And what we can do right now is actually getting all the people. Actions, find people, job title, owner, partner, C-suite. And as you can see, in just a couple of clicks, we can actually get all the people. We got the company, we use the AI, we figure out only the one that we really want, we get the people, and from the people we can use other agents to first get more information about these people, secondly getting the email, getting the phone number, getting LinkedIn, automating LinkedIn messages thanks to our HeyReach, automating emails thanks to Smart Lead, automating or sending the numbers to a cold caller. So in this way we can move hyper fast to launch new marketing, especially outbound campaigns. Actually, it's not just outbound. Can be an outbound campaign to generate partnerships, can be an outbound campaign to convince influencers to actually post our own stuff, can be a lot of things, but the ability to actually generate lists at scale and contact people with the right message at the right time, with the right communication, it's an incredible skill that you can leverage at 360 degrees for your own marketing success. Okay, AI outbound, let's jump into the next one, which is vibe marketing. So what is vibe marketing, vibe coding, vibe selling, the super trendy word that exists right now? So vibe marketing basically it's using any kind of AI tool such as GPT, such as Lovable, such as Clay to actually generate, only using open words, very personalized marketing assets. For example, there's this amazing tool which is called Lovable, which is basically a very powerful AI engine to actually create landing pages, website design just using open words. For example, let's say that I want a landing page for a real estate agency selling condos in New York. Make sure to include the testimonial page and the services page. And as you can see, literally with a couple of words and a couple of clicks, the AI is actually creating vibe marketing, creating a real landing page that you can host on a website, and it literally required a couple of clicks. As you can see on the left, you have all the reasoning. I'll create a stunning New York-owned real estate landing page, modern, luxurious, professional, etc. First, it will create a first draft, and then if you actually want to edit something, you can click directly on the screen on the right, or with open words, you can say something like, okay, I don't want the website to be orange, but I want the website to be green, or include this, or edit this other part of the landing page. Okay, as you can finally see here on the right, we have our preview of the website, which is extremely good. Maybe it's not perfect, of course, for a final project, but the goal of the project here is actually marketing and coming up with a very cool personalized experience with a couple of words. And let me tell you, like, an amazing use case that basically nobody is actually leveraging, which is sending extremely personalized lead magnets at scale using Lovable, especially the APIs. This is very interesting because maybe Lovable is still not there to actually create at scale ready to use websites, but is the perfect tool to be leveraged to actually send hyper relevant lead magnets at scale. What you can actually do here, for example, let's go back to the example of marketing agency, and let's say that instead of selling a software, you want to sell like a website or a landing page or a design. What you can actually sell is, starting from the website of the agency, the name of the owner, the services that are actually selling, the name of the company. You can send with the API all this information to Lovable and create a super personalized mockup, so that in the message you can actually say, hey, name, I noticed that you're actually managing this super incredible marketing agency selling SEO and ads services to real estate agents. We have just created for you a new website that we think could skyrocket your conversion rates. Here's the link. And you vibe coded all the lead magnets at scale so that you actually created a super personalized assets and delivered it at scale. Now we start with AI outbound, then vibe marketing. Now let's go to the skill number 3, which is no code and automation. No code automation, especially in 2025, is probably one of the best time saver that I've ever had. I literally jumped into companies, and with no code and automation, I saved literally hundreds of thousands of dollars and automated the jobs of dozens of people, literally. There are many use cases. The easiest way to do this is leveraging, of course, the tools I usually use, which are Clay.com, Make, and O10. Actually, most of the time, to be fair, I only use Clay.com because N10 is basically an overcomplication of Clay and Make most of the times, even if a lot of people like this. Especially in a business like marketing and sales operation context, Clay is probably the best in the world. If you want to automate more operational stuff, Make is great too. N10 is basically a combination of both, let's say, to really simplify everything. Some of the use cases that I'm using Make for, there are many. For example, my website, clayoperator.com, is connected to many forms, and when I get emails are basically sent to my email marketing platform. All these automation are made by Make. Another example, I have a community on Slack called the Clay Operator. When someone joins, we will receive a sequences of welcome messages. Everything is built on make.com. Think, for example, if I have to actually welcome all the new members, remind things, or send like a new video to 600 different members. It would be impossible. I would need like a team of 20 people, 200 people. But with Make, I was actually able to basically manage all the community just myself without using any kind of full-time employee, with higher margins and very high satisfaction on my part. Okay, let's jump to the next skill, which is automation, inbox management, and conversation. As you probably know, there's a KPI in sales that is called speed to lead, which is the speed at which, the time at which you actually reply to a lead. It can be inbound, it can be outbound, you can be many things, but this very little KPI totally impact all your pipeline. The difference between answering to inbound request from 1 hour to actually 1 day is everything. You basically 7x the probability of actually getting a relevant sales conversation if you reply in the first hours. The problem is, especially when a company gets bigger, it's very hard to actually reply in a timely manner to all of these leads, because you have the CRM, you have inbound, you have conferences, you have outbound campaigns. It's messy, you have a lot of people. So the ability to actually have an immediate speed to lead can actually drive a lot of millions for a mid-market to enterprise company. Good news is that there are many tools such as Reply where you can actually train your own AI model to actually understand your offering, your messaging, what you solve, train your own ways to actually reply to all these messages in a super automatic way in a matter of minutes. Literally, can be for inbound, can be for your email, can be for outbound. I'll make an example. You probably know that I'm using Smartly to actually launch all my cold email campaigns, and all my cold email campaigns almost run 24 hours per day. The problem is at midnight, I'm not awake, and maybe at 5 a.m. in the morning, I'm sleeping. But if some prospect actually wakes up like very early, and it's exactly in the moment that he has his focus on the computer, on my conversation, he will basically message me, and actually replying in the exact same moment totally change the game, because maybe it's a high-level executive and after 5 hours you totally forgot about your own conversation. But if you receive the message immediately, you can actually continue the conversation till you book a meeting. So check tools like RevReply, because you can really skyrocket your own results, and most of all, do not waste money in silly things such as speed to lead. It's already expensive enough to actually get leads with outbound. Don't waste them. Use RevReply, use AI to actually book your meetings and reply immediately to conversation. Next, let's jump into content writing and editing. Of course, you already know that I'm probably using GPT for everything. People are probably over using GPT. The problem is how to use GPT and actually make me much more efficient to save money, make more money, or save time. And there are a couple of use cases that I wanna to talk with you about that are very, very powerful. So first of all, let's jump into my GPT. As you can see, there's a section here on the right which is called My GPT. This is very powerful because you can actually create your own GPTs to actually help you in the day-to-day to become much more efficient. For example, the number one is the English teacher. As you can probably hear from my accent, my English is not perfect. I come from Italy. My pronunciation is not perfect, my grammar is not perfect, but anytime that I write a newsletter, I write a LinkedIn post, I use the English teacher to actually correct all the grammatical errors, changing as little words as possible, because I don't want my content to seem like AI generated. I only want AI to actually correct my English mistakes. Another one is the review writer. Of course, I don't fake the reviews, but let's say that I'm in a call with a client, I ask for a review and they talk about my service for 5 minutes. I can't post a 5-minute transcript of all the conversation, but I can use my review writer to actually come up with a very short, brief, and impactful review based on the conversation that I had with my client. Another example is the YouTube strategist. I use this because I analyze dozens of YouTube channels, checking for viral ideas, formats, titles, thumbnails, and in this way, given the things that I talk about, such as AI, automation, Claycom, I can come up with the right idea to actually make my videos viral. As you can see, I'm really leveraging GPT for everything that is written content to actually augment myself and run a linear organization. Just one last example, because it really changed my game, which is bookkeeping. Actually, I really hate bookkeeping. I hate hiring VAs because they make a lot of errors, and crazy enough, I was actually able to use GPT to do all my bookkeepings. It was enough to actually launch all my invoices inside GPT, my bank balances, and I was able to actually get very precise bookkeeping thanks to GPT only. So guys, think twice about your employees, because there's a very high chance that or you can substitute them entirely, or you can actually augment their work so that they can produce more with less. Okay guys, let's jump on the next skill, which is prompt engineering. Prompt engineering, especially in the AI age, is huge. As you probably know, AI is still not perfect. AI is really hallucinated. So you have to find a way to actually communicate with AI and extract the right information at the right time. It can be a Claycom prompt, it can be a prompt inside of GPT, but you have to find a way to actually communicate with AI in the right way to extract the right information. I'll make you just a very simple example. An example with copywriting in particular. If you've seen my videos, you have probably already seen one of my best performing cold email templates, which is this. Hi, first name, personalized first line. If I could generate X outcome thanks to unique system, like I did for social proof, would you be interested in speaking? This is a very powerful cold email template. And what you can actually do is leverage your own knowledge about the market. For example, I know that when I test copy in cold emails, I know that the only thing that I really test is the list or the value proposition, because I know that anything else is not worth testing. And if you get years of experience, you will actually understand that really only value proposition and the list is the only things worth testing in outbound. And combining your own expertise with this template and GPT, you can actually skyrocket the speed at which you come up with copy angles. The only thing you have to need to do is copy this, go to GPT, create a new chat. Let's say that, for example, you want to create a campaign for commerce owners and you're selling ads. What I would probably do is, I am a cold email copywriter. I am selling meta ads to e-commerce owners. Please come up with 5 different value propositions for selling meta ads. Please go as in-depth as possible with the problems e-com owners are aware of in terms of ads in 2025. Of course, now it's your own expertise in the e-commerce industry that tells you if this value proposition actually makes sense, or this actually makes much more sense, or if I have to change them a little bit. But the good part here is if you are decently knowledgeable about your own market and you continue saying, please, another 5 value proposition, please, another 5 value propositions, you are basically forcing GPT to come up sooner or later with something that makes a lot of sense. This value proposition actually makes a lot of sense. What you can do is put value prop 5 inside this template. You go to the template, you copy it, paste, and GPT will actually put the value proposition inside the template. And if you read this, it's not even that bad. Of course, this requires, again, 3 things: market knowledge, prompt engineering, and the right knowledge about copywriting, because I knew exactly that I have to test the value proposition. I know exactly what are the right problems for an e-commerce owner. I already found a template that is working. So putting all the 3 things together, that comes from experience, thanks to AI, you can really augment your work. So it's not as easy as coming up with templates. It's not as easy as writing stupid things on GPT. It requires both AI knowledge and market domain. Those put together, you can actually make magical things happen. Finally, let's jump to the last one, which is AI research. Guys, I didn't really want to share this, but guys, I have to, because it's super helpful for my own business too. Because AI research is such a huge thing actually. For example, let's say that you're having a lot of sales calls, especially in B2B. And in just one click, you want as much information about the prospect and about the company, because you have to prepare your own sales script, or at least you want to prepare yourself for the sales conversation that you're having in 2 hours. How can you skyrocket this? Again, it requires market knowledge, AI knowledge, and Clay. But check, for example, for this very specific case, what I was able to do. By the fact that I know my ICP very well, I created basically a company analysis Clayagent table that's already ready. As you can see, is in my favorite bar here. With just one click, I can open the table. Let's say that tomorrow or in 1 hour, I'm gonna have a meeting with, I don't know, Apple.com, a VP of marketing of Apple.com, and I want to analyze what is the B2B part of Apple, how does it work, and what are the go-to-market assets that they are investing in to actually be relevant in my sales conversation. What I can actually do right now is just enough to go here, Apple.com, copy and paste, and as you can see, automatically this Clay table is analyzing the company domain, getting all the information, the employee count, where the traffic is coming, paid ads, organic SEO, conferences, events, what kind of source. Because if they are coming for events, I know that I can sell them a Clay table for events. If they are coming for advertising, maybe I can sell inbound-led, outbound infrastructures. Then I find if it is PLG or SLG, how many salespeople they have inside of the company, what technology are you actually using. For example, I work very well with Salesforce or with HubSpot, or I know that I can substitute Clearbit, saving the company hundreds of thousands of dollars of enrichment. Then lookalike audience, I find the competitors. I can study the competitors. And in this way, guys, in just a couple of clicks, I have done the research that otherwise would have taken like 2 hours, 1 hour. But again, I'm alone. I'm just leveraging my AI, and I am augmenting my own market knowledge to be as effective as possible and creating a small company that is super profitable, making millions by myself in my small room wherever in the world. So guys, remember, skill compounding is the biggest force in the universe. Make the effort to actually learn the skills, learn Clay.com, try to come up with practical examples and start selling your own services to B2B companies. You will find out that just in a couple of months, maybe in a couple of years, you will be unstoppable. You would be finally able to drive millions of dollars in pipeline alone, save millions for companies, and actually being the most impactful worker inside of a company. And you will figure out that in just a couple of months or a couple of years, if you do the work, if you learn the skills, if you apply AI to your own marketing and sales skill, you can actually be the most impactful figure inside of an organization. In this video, you actually got a better understanding on how to use Clay to actually save hundreds of thousands of dollars for companies in 2025. But there are many plays that you can actually build on Clay.com, for example, reaching out to companies in the exact moment that they experience a problem. The fact is, it's almost impossible to find these very sophisticated playbooks on YouTube or on the internet. Luckily, I created a full Clay tutorial on how you can leverage my news-led outbound playbook, how you can connect Clay to Google News and reach out in the most powerful way I actually know. So see you over there, I'll see you in the next video.